day everyone! Today I am in the subject of operating systems and I will be reporting the activity 1. So before I start, I would like to introduce myself. I am Angelo Miguel de Pumos from BSIT S2A. So for the contents, I will be comparing Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows ME, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8 or 8.1, Windows 10, and Windows 11 in terms of vendor support, code name, system type, system requirements, features, application compatibility, backup and restore procedures, and installation procedures. So for the first item, vendor support. So before I start the comparison, I would like to define what vendor support is. So first, vendor support is the term used to describe the help and services that a vendor or a supplier or a seller offers to clients who have bought their goods or services. In addition to assisting clients with installation, usage, and maintenance, this support usually covers any faults or problems that may come up during the course of the product's lifetime. Strong vendor support is essential for companies and individuals that depends on goods and services from third parties. It has major effect on the general satisfaction and experience of the customer. The caliber and responsiveness of a potential vendor's support services should be taken into account while assessing them in order to guarantee that any problem may be resolved quickly, reducing downtime and interruptions. So for Windows 95, 98, and ME, Microsoft has stopped supporting these versions a long time ago. There are no security updates or official support available, and they are regarded as outdated. For Windows XP, Microsoft formally ended support for Windows XP on April 8, 2014. This also applies to the discontinuation of security updates. Maintaining Windows XP presents serious security risks. For Windows Vista, on April 10, 2012, Microsoft stopped providing mainstream support for Windows Vista. However, on April 11, 2017, support was reinstated. Similar to Windows XP, using Windows Vista is not recommended due to security concerns. For Windows 7, on January 13, 2015, Microsoft stopped providing mainstream support for Windows 7. However, on January 14, 2020, they renewed it. Microsoft has discontinued the provision of security update for Windows 7. For Windows 8.1 and 8, on January 9, 2018, it was the last day of mainstream support for Windows 8, and January 10, 2023 will mark the end of such extended support. Windows 8.1 operates on the same timetable. For Windows 10, Microsoft was actively supporting Windows 10 as of the time of my last update. The service methodology for Windows 10 is different. Regular updates are distributed via the Windows Update system. Nevertheless, different support life cycles may apply to different Windows 10 editions. For Windows 11, Microsoft officially released Windows 11 in October 2021. It had active support at that time. Via the Windows Update program, Microsoft offers Windows 11 regular updates and support. Now, for the code name. Code names in the world of operating system is a short, informal name that is given to a project while it's being worked on. Before it is given its official name, code names are usually only used by the people working on the project, and they can't be shared with the public until the operating system is finally released. Codenames are a common way for developers to talk about a project in a less formal or public way. Names like this are sometimes based on themes, animals, places, or other artistic elements. As soon as the operating system is ready to go public, a name that's easier to remember is picked for it. So basically, code names are nicknames for the window for the window software that is being released, that will be released. So it's a less formal way to refer to it. So for Windows 95, it's Chicago. For Windows 98, it's Memphis. For Windows ME, the Millennium Edition, Millennium. For Windows XP, the Whistler. For Windows Vista, Longhorn. For Windows 7, Blackcomb initially, and then it was changed to Vienna. For Windows 8 or 8.1, Windows Blue. For Windows 10, it was initially Threshold and then moved to a Windows as a Service model with regular feature updates. And for Windows 11, Sun Valley, heading up the major redesign announced in 2021. So for system type, so for item 3, the system type architecture, a computer central processing unit or CPU is built on top of a hardware architecture or set of instructions. The term system type and architecture relate to this. There are different designs that are made to run different sets of instruction. For software, like operating systems and app, to work on a computer, it needs to be compatible with that architecture. So when installing software or an operating system, the type of architecture of the system is a critical factor to consider, as the software must be compiled or designed to operate on a particular architecture. An operating system designed for x86 architecture, for instance, will not function on hardware based on ARM architecture, and conversely. The designation 32-bit or 64-bit that follows a system type indicates that maximum address space of the processor in terms of memory capacity, the ability of a 64-bit architecture to address significantly more memory in theory than a 32-bit architecture is crucial for larger datasets and modern computing tasks. So for Windows 95 and 98 and ME, the previously mentioned iterations were designed to specifically target the x86 architecture, which comprises 32-bit and at times 16-bit components. So for Windows XP, at its inception, Windows XP was made available in 32-bit and 64-bit configurations. In contrast, 64-bit versions were utilized less frequently on customers' systems in their infancy. For Microsoft Vista, Windows Vista, like its predecessor, Windows XP, was offered in 32-bit and 64-bit configurations. For Windows 7, similar to its predecessors, was offered in 32-bit and 64-bit configurations. Over time, the 64-bit version gained greater acceptance and usage. For Windows 8.1 and Windows 8, Windows 8.1 and Windows 8 were developed with x86 and x64 architectures in mind. Also included in Windows 8 was Windows RT, a platform designed for ARM-based devices. For Windows 10, Windows 10 provides extensive support for various architectures, such as x86, x64, and ARM. Windows 10's adaptability in architecture supports enables it to operate on a wide range of devices, including tablets, IoT devices, and conventional PCs. For Windows 11, it maintains compatibility with x86, x64, and ARM platforms. It extends the architectural support that was initially implemented on Windows 10. For system requirements are the minimal hardware and software parameters needed for a device or computer system to function properly with a given operating system or software application. To guarantee optimum performance and functionality, the operating system or software developers supply these needs. The specs for the CPU, RAM, storage, graphics, and other necessary components are usually included in system requirements. So before installing applications or updating an operating system, user must make sure that their system satisfies or even surpasses the requirements. So, inability to operate the software at all, unstable operation, or subpar for performance could arise from not meeting the minimum requirements. Beyond the bare minimum, software developers may also offer suggested system requirements for the best possible user experience. So, for Windows 95, the processor is 386DX or higher. For the RAM, 4 MB or 8 MB is recommended. Hard drive, 50 MB of free space. Graphics, VGA or higher resolution. Other, Microsoft mouse or compatible pointing device. For Windows 98, a processor of 486DX or 66 MHz or higher. A RAM of 16 MB or 24 MB is recommended. A hard drive of 195 MB of free space. A graphics of VGA or higher resolution. Other is CD-ROM drive, Microsoft mouse or compatible pointing device. For Windows ME, the Millennium Edition, a processor of Pentium 150 MHz or higher, a RAM of 32 MB, a hard drive of 300 MB of free space, graphics of VGA or higher resolution, other CD-ROM drive, Microsoft mouse or compatible pointing device. For Windows XP, a processor of Pentium 233 MHz or higher, a RAM of 64 MB or 128 MB recommended, a hard drive of 1.5 GB of free space, a graphic of resolutions up to 800 by 1600 pixels or Super VGA, and other CD-ROM drive, keyboard, and mouse. Windows Vista, a processor of 1 GHz, 32-bit or x86 or 64-bit x64, a RAM of 1 GB or 2 GB is recommended, hard drive of 40 GB of free space or 15 GB for home basic, graphic device for DirectX 9 with WDDM 1.0 or higher drive. Other is DVD-ROM drive and internet access. For Windows 7, a processor of 1 GHz, 32-bit x86 or 64-bit x64, a RAM of 1 GB or 2 GB is recommended, a hard drive of 16 GB available capacity, 20 GB in 64-bit mode, graphics of WDDM 1.0 or higher driver for DirectX 9 graphics device. Other is DVD-ROM drive and internet access. For Windows 8 and 8.1, processor of 1 GHz, 32-bit x86 or 64-bit x64, a RAM of 1 GB in 32-bit mode or 2 GB in 64-bit mode, a hard drive of 16 GB available capacity, 20 GB in 64 mode, graphics of DirectX 9 graphics device using a driver for WDDM 1.0 or later, other internet access. For Windows 10, a processor of 1 GHz or faster, a RAM of 1 GB in 32-bit mode or 2 GB in 64-bit mode, a hard drive of 32 GB of free space, a graphic of WDDM 1.0 driver, and DirectX 9 or later. Other internet access. For Windows 11, a processor of minimum of 2 cores, 1 GHz or higher, RAM of 4 GB or more, hard drive of 64 GB or more, graphics of DirectX 12 compatible graphics with a WDDM 2.0 driver. Others are internet connection, system firmware that supports secure boot. So for item 5, features. So what are features? So features refers to distinguishing qualities or features that make up a system, service, or product. When it comes to software, technology, or consumer products, features are the attributes or features that provides value, uniqueness, or utility to a product. So, for Windows 95, there is a start menu and the introduction of the start menu for easy program access. There is plug and play for enhanced hardware support and taskbar for managing open applications. For Windows 98, there is an Internet Explorer 4.0 wherein there is an integrated web browser with the operating system. There are Windows updates. There is a USB support. For Windows ME Millennium Edition, there is System Restore wherein it has the ability to roll back system files to a previous state. There's a media player upgrade. There is automatic updates. For Windows XP, there is Luna UI, which is redesigned user interface with the Luna theme. There are user accounts, improved user account management. There are Windows Firewall, wherein it provides enhanced security. For Windows Vista, there is Aero UI, which introduced the Aero Glass visual style, the Windows sidebar, the improved search. For Windows 7, there are taskbar enhancements, Aero Snap, which is window management feature for easy organization. There is Home Group, which is simplified home networking. For Windows 8 or 8.1, there is a start screen and there are charm bars where it provides access to system-wide settings with the charm bar. There are Windows stores, and for Windows 10, there are start menu returns, which is the introduction of the start menu. There is Cortana, which is the virtual assistant for voice commands and searches. There are virtual desktops, which provides the ability to create and switch between virtual desktops. For Windows 11, there are the redesigned start menu. There are snap layouts and snap groups for improved window management, and there is direct integration with Microsoft Teams, integrated communication and collaboration. So for application compatibility, it is the software program's capacity to function efficiently and according to plan within a particular computing environment, such as an operating system or a hardware platform. It is a gauge of an application's suitability for a given set of requirements, dependencies, and settings. Due to changes in system designs, APIs or application programming interfaces, and overall system requirements, application compatibility may differ between different versions of the Windows operating system. So, for Windows 95, for Windows 98, ME, and 95, because there is a substantial change in underlying architecture, most applications created for Windows 95, 98, and ME are incompatible with more recent versions of the operating systems. For Windows XP, many Windows XP designed programs can function on later Windows versions with the right compatibility settings, but some legacy apps might have problems, especially if they depend on antiquated system components. For Windows Vista, the degree of compatibility between Windows Vista compatible apps and later Windows versions may vary. Certain software was impacted by the changes brought about by Windows Vista, and some programs made specifically for it may need compatibility mode settings in later versions. Windows 7, generally speaking, it's more compatible apps work well with Windows 8 and 8.1 as well as Windows 10. Yung mga apps ng Windows 7, mas compatible siya or it works well with Windows 8 and 8.1 as well as Windows 10. To facilitate the operation of older applications on modern platforms, compatibility modes and virtualization technologies are offered. So, for Windows 8 or 8.1, the majority of Windows 8 and 8.1 applications are compatible with Windows 10 as well. Compatibility enhancement were incorporated into the following versions, and the transition between these versions was largely seamless. So for Windows 10, Because of Windows 10's various compatibility capabilities, a lot of apps made for previous versions can function flawlessly. To solve compatibility problems, virtualization technologies and compatibility modes are offered. For Windows 11, backward compatibility was taken into consideration during design. Applications from the Microsoft Store and conventional Win32 programs should function. Updates may be necessary for certain legacy apps. So, for item 7, backup and restore procedures. Procedures for backup and restore are crucial for protecting data and guaranteeing business continuity in the event of unanticipated events, system failure, or data loss. So, for Windows 95, 98, and ME, backup procedures use backup tools. So, Windows 95 and 98 include basic backup tools. Use the backup utility to create backup of important files. Copy important files. Manually copy critical data to external media such as floppy disks or zip drives. So, basically, gamitin mo yung basic backup tools and yung mga crucial data, ikaw na yung magmamanual na lagay doon sa external hard drives such as floppy disks, zip drives, and etc. Restore procedures. Restore from backup. Use the backup utility or manually copy files back to original locations. For Windows XP, backup procedures. Windows backup utility. Use the built-in backup utility to create and schedule backups. Copy files, manually copy important files to external devices or network locations. Restore procedures, Windows backup utility. Use the backup utility to restore files from created backups. Manual restore. Copy files back to their original locations manually. For Windows Vista and 7, backup procedures, backup and restore center. Utilize the Backup and Restore Center to create and schedule backups. For Windows 7, they introduced the additional feature for creating system images. For Restore Procedures, Backup and Restore Center, use the Backup and Restore Center to restore files or system images. For Windows 8 or 8.1, Backup Procedures, File History, use File History to automatically backup files. Create a system image backup for full system backup. Restore procedures, file history again. Restore files using file history. Use your refresh your PC or reset your PC option for system level restoration. For Windows 10, backup procedure, file history again. Use file history to automatically backup files. System image backup. Use the built-in system image backup tool for full system backups. Restore procedures. File history. File history allows you to restore earlier versions of your files. Reset this PC. For system-level issues, use the Reset this PC feature in Windows 10 settings. For Windows 11, file history again. Continue using file history for file backups. System image backup. If available, check for any updated system backup features. Restore procedures. File history again. Restore files using file history. Reset this PC. Use this Reset this PC feature for system level restoration. Now, for installation procedures, the term installation procedures describes the collection of actions or guidelines that must be performed in order to install and configure a computer program or piece of software on a computing system. These steps guarantee that the software is installed correctly and is operational. So, for Windows 95, 98, and ME, boot from installation media, insert the Windows installation floppy disk or CD-ROM, restart the computer and boot from the installation media, follow installation wizard. The setup procedure will be walked through by the installation wizard. Enter the product key and choose installation options. Partition and format, create or select a partition for the installation. Format the partition using FAT16 or FAT32 file systems. File copying. Installation files will be copied to the hard disk by Windows. Configuration. Configure regional settings, user information, and networking if applicable. Finalize installation. Allow the system to complete the installation and reboot. For Windows XP, boot from installation CD, insert the Windows XP installation CD, restart the computer and boot from the CD, follow installation wizard, follow the prompts from the installation wizard, enter the product key, select the partition, and choose file system, usually NTFS. Configuration. Set up user accounts, regional settings, and network settings. Activate Windows. Activate Windows XP using the product key. Finalize installation. Allow the system to complete the installation and reboot. Windows Vista and 7. Boot from installation media. Insert the Windows installation DVD. Use the DVD to boot up the machine after a restart. Follow installation wizard. Follow the prompts from the installation wizard. Enter the product key. Select the partition and choose file system, usually NTFS. Configuration. Set up user accounts, regional settings, and network settings. Activate Windows. Activate Windows using product key. Finalize installation. Allow the system to complete the installation and reboot. For Windows 8 or 8.1, boot from installation media, put the USB drive or DVD for Windows installation in. Restart the computer and boot from the installation media. Follow installation wizard. Follow the prompts from the installation wizard. Enter the product key, select the partition, and choose file system, usually the NTFS. Configuration. Set up the user accounts, regional settings, and network setting. Personalize system settings. Activate Windows. Activate Windows using the product key. And finally, the finalize installation. Allow the system to complete the installation and reboot. For Windows 10, boot from installation media. Put in the USB device on or Windows installation DVD. Restart the computer and boot from the installation media. Follow installation wizard. Follow the prompts from the installation wizard. Enter the product key, select the partition, and choose file system, usually NTFS. Configuration. Set up user accounts, regional settings, and network settings. Customize privacy and system settings. Activate Windows. Activate Windows using the product key. Finalize installation. Allow the system to complete the installation and reboot. Finally, for Windows 11, boot from installation media. Insert the Windows 11 installation DVD or USB drive. Restart the computer and boot from the installation media. Follow installation wizard. Follow the prompts from the installation wizard. Enter the product key, select the partition, and choose file system, usually NTFS. Configuration. Set up user accounts, regional settings, and network settings. Customize privacy and system settings. Activate Windows. Activate Windows using the product key. Finalize installation. Allow the system to complete the installation and reboot. Now, thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from me. Bye!